Hello everyone, welcome to My English, My Life, an online program to learn English. Classes from class 6 to class 12. So today we are going to discuss our 10th class 5th unit, first part of the story, the Storeyed house. I'm very happy to share this topic. It is very essential to know as a student. Everyone should know about this topic, social issues, what is happening around our society, which was clearly shown up in this story part 1 and part 2. And before getting into the lesson, the story, let me read the lines which was written for you by Rabindranath Tagore. Already we studied earlier in 9th class from the Where the Mind Without Fear. So there I was taking 2 lines, already it was prescribed in a textbook. Let's read. Where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. So Rabindranath Tagore, he mentioning one word, that is freedom, and he's making the India to wake up, to stop and to avoid and to abolish and to demolish the narrow domestic walls. We know that what are the domestic walls. Already in the 9th class we discussed in the poem Where the Mind Without Fear. So here we are going to observe clearly with the help of a story what happened in Bhayaji lives. So in the form of story, let's begin. There was something really wrong with the state transport bus. It had come up the winding road in the mountain as if with a lifetime effort. The road was now downhill, and yet the bus moved slowly as a sick man walking with the help of another. It reached the plain where the dispensary buildings was situated and stood still like an obstinate bull. Now the destination was hardly a mile or 2 away, but the driver was sore and the conductor had no option but to be silent. When they realized that the bus would not move any faster, a couple of passengers exclaimed, "God damn it, for a bloody nuisance." So the story has been started with the journey, and here the bus was moving and it was a downhill road. But we know the downhill, uphill means the road will be like this, and downhill means it is very sloppy, we can move very fast. Even it was a downhill, the bus was moving very slow as an obstinate bull, means the bull which was not interested to move, as a truant child, what we discussed previously. So the bus was moving, but it was very slow. Even it is downhill, it was not moving faster. And the driver knows what happened to the bus. And immediately the conductor kept quiet, because if he opens his mouth, everybody will shout on him. So all the passengers were shouting at the bus conductor or the driver, because the bus was not even moving forward. Immediately they requested to get down, and they are most probably, we know now the students, we don't know that, most probably your fathers, and they knows that previously the state transport bus was having a big trouble of starting trouble. So everyone should get down, and they used to push, and then it will get start. So it will be very common on those days. Maybe your fathers knows, the father mother who are studying, they knows very well. So the bus was not even moving. So already all the passengers are requested to get down. So now they are going to do something for the bus. The conductor asked the passenger to get down, and they all put their strength together to push the bus. Having gained its initial momentum, the bus started. Passengers clambered, jostling one another. The conductor rang the bell, and the bus gradually took on speed. It entered the village reluctantly, like a truant child being dragged to school, as it would its way through the curves on the outskirts. It gone and croaked like a hen about to lay eggs, and stopped with a bang in front of Bujhaba Patil's residence. As it halted, it gave a big lurch, sending the passengers helter-skelter, churned like water in a pitcher when the carrier stumbles. So now what happened slowly, all the conductor requested the passenger to get down. So all they got down and they started pushing the bus. So when they are pushing the bus was moving and it got initial moment, it got started and it started moving on. Moving like a drowned child. Means a child who is not interested to go to school, how we will drag him to school. Same like that, slowly it was moving front, back, drin. Like that it reached the village and it stopped with a big jerk and big sound and a bang sound, and it stopped in front of Bujaba Patil's residence, means house, and with a big sound. All the passengers irritatingly and shouting on the conductor, "You dirty, you stupid bus, we never get into the bus. Again, we won't come in this bus." So all they are commenting, all they are talking on the conductor and the bus. So all they are getting down, and our main character now will come to the screen. All the passengers got down. The coolie put his hand on a huge wooden box and shouted, "Whose box this is this?" Bayaji, who was brushing away the dust from his body, answered, "Oh, it's mine. Please lower it down." The coolie heaved and grunted as he lowered the box, which Bayaji caught with ease. So this is the condition if you are traveling through train or bus stop, most probably in the train railway stations, we will get the incident. If we are carrying a big luggage without asking a permission, immediately a coolie will come and they will take and they will keep on the shoulders, on the head, and they will move on. They won't ask our permission whether we are interested to carry the trunk by him or not. They won't ask. Simply they will take and they will go. The same thing here. The coolie has seen a big wooden box from the bus and immediately got down and he took and he was moving and he's asking, "Who's this box?" Immediately Bayaji said, "Hey, it's my box." Then he is not asking whether you want to carry, whether you want me to carry. Nothing he's asking. Simply he's taking and carrying, and immediately Bayaji went and he took and he said, "No, I will carry my own luggage." The coolie, Bayaji had packed his entire household goods in this box. There was no longer any reason to hang around in Bombay. He had worked honestly for the past 35 years in the dockyard and had retired from service 2 months before. Not that he had held an important position. He had merely got an extension for 2 years. During that period, he had become a supervisor. Otherwise, his entire life had been spent lifting heavy roads. He had worked very hard whenever he could, day and night. So clearly here, the lifestyle of Bayaji was mentioned here. So he came from Bombay and he worked in a dockyard. Maybe we know the dockyard where the ships and all things are manufactured. So there he worked for a lifetime, 35 years he worked in the dockyard as a coolie. How do we know? When the coolie asked to carry the bag, he said, "I can carry my luggage." Same thing here. He knows very well how to hold the weights. So he said, "I will carry." Same thing, he worked as a worker labor, the daily labor in the dockyard. After that, before his 2 years of retirement, he became a supervisor and he was very, very happy. And now he was very happy because he came to his hometown by taking all his household things and all his baggage and luggage. That means he is not going back to his work. So he got retired from the job and he reached his own village. Bayaji had crossed 60 but was in sound health. He had a sturdy frame right from birth, and hard work had given as well-formed shape for his strong body. He paid 15 paise to the coolie, put the box in which he had thrown pots and pans and sundry other things on his own head, and began to walk in the direction of his house. So immediately what happened? The coolie who got from the bus, from the top of the bus, he got the box down, and immediately with the help, he knows the work and hard work of a coolie. So immediately he took 15 paise and he given to the man, and he took the wooden box and he kept on his head, and he was moving towards his home. Why? Because he knows the value of hard work. From the birth to 60 years old man, till his retirement, he done many works. and he did many hard work to reach the position of supervisor in the dockyard. As a labor and the worker, later he became supervisor and he got retired and he saved some amount and he worked a long time for his family, and he is coming back to his own village to talk and to spend his retired life. As he reached Kadam's house, he saw Bujaba coming towards him. Bujaba was a known rascal of the village. Bhayaji balanced the burden on his head. Straightening his neck, he said, "Greetings to you, sir. How are things with you?" Now, immediately see here, he was moving towards, and he was moving towards his home, the direction of his home. When he was going there, he stopped by seeing a person. His name is Bujaba. So he was a known rascal. So why he mentioned, why we call him as a rascal means you will come to know when we know the character of Bujaba. So why we'll call him as a rascal. So let's continue the story. So a well-known rascal in the village, he stopped by, and immediately he is an upper caste person, and Bujaba a lower caste person. So immediately he greeted him. He wished him, "Greetings to you, how the things are going with you." Then immediately, what was the response? For example, if you were greeted by some other person, of your friend, somebody, "Oh, how are you? Good morning." What we will say good afternoon or good morning, something in respect to your position or something. But here we got a strange response that makes the Bujaba as a rascal. Let's read and understand that. Bayaji was a Mahabhai caste, and according to age-old custom, he should give greeted Bujaba with "My humble salutations to you, sir. You who are my father and mother." So, when Bayaji merely said greetings, Bujaba became furious and said, "Do you think you can become a Brahmin merely by saying greetings? Can you forget your position simply because you have turned a Buddhist?" So clearly here, the response of Bujaba we can identify. So he greeted him with a good word, "Greetings to you, sir." Instead of saying that you are my father and your mother. From the olden days, upper caste people, especially Brahmins, were the dominated society. When you watch the movies of Satyajit Ray, Aparjito, Panchali, the world of Apu trilogy, there clearly he's shown the lifestyle of Brahmins, how they dominated the society, how they treated the lower caste people, how they made them as slaves. Clearly he mentioned there. So he belongs to a Mahar caste, means a low caste in the society, our Bayaji. And Bujaba was upper caste, a Brahmin person. So I'm not criticizing any religion nowadays, but what happened in the previous days, let me point out the issue there. The Brahmins treated all the other castes as a lower caste and made them as slaves. They not even allowed them to walk in front of them, and they not even allowed them to stay in front of their places, and they have to work for them, but they not raise their voice against them. Simply when there comes, they have to down their head and they have to move on. So that was very, very pathetic condition in olden days that we call untouchability. So clearly here, the writer is clearly pointing the word a caste to mention you to remember that there should be any caste in your mind. So here, the Bujaba and Bayaji, an old man, even as an old man, on basing of the Bujaba caste community, he given respect by wishing him greetings. But what the answer from Bujaba, what he's saying, he's saying that, or do you forget your standard? Do you know who you are? You are a Maha caste. You are a low community person. You are not allowed to greet me. By greeting me, do you want to become a Brahmin? It's absolutely not. You can't become. You turn as a Buddhist, but you can't turn as a Brahmin. Never and never. So clearly he was very, very proud of his community and caste. For that only we will call him as a rascal. Who are proud of their community, they are rascals. They are rascals. They are not treating them equally. Nowadays we have many people with the same ideology, making them to treat them as they are slaves. They are low community. On basic of community, they are going to differentiate every people. So how pathetic condition. Some of the communities are, some caste people, some community people are making a slogans and making a national, as like national anthems. They are writing community anthems, caste anthems. How foolish people they are. They are not behaving even like human beings. They are not having any humanity in their minds. Simply they are feeling that their community is the highlighter. Their caste is the great for them. So that is the condition. For that will be called Bujaba as a rascal. Bayaji was nonplussed. For a moment he was tempted to knock him down with his box, but realized that he could not afford to do so. Besides, now he had come back to his village for good. He was to spend the rest of his days on the soil and would be interred in the same soil. He would not be able to return to Pune or Bombay thereafter. It was not a good policy to incur the hostility of anyone in the village, least as so of the Patils, the village headman. So the Bujaba Patils, what happened? He was shocked. Bayaji was shocked for the answer of Bujaba Patil. But even he got great anger. He wanted to knock him down with the wooden box what he's carrying. But he never did. Why? Because he came for a good purpose. He came to stay there in the own village his rest of life, because he was retired 60 plus and he wanted to stay the rest of life in this village, and he wanted to stay there, and he wanted to incur, means he wanted to die and he wanted to bury in the same place. So he don't want to make any argument, he don't want to make any nuisance and any clashes with the village people, especially with the rascal of Bujaba Patil. So that made him to be very keep quiet and to move on to his direction towards his home. So he said in a meek tone, "Sir, why spring this on me even before I set foot on the soil of my forefathers? I have to stay here till the end of my life." "Why? Aren't you going back to your job?" asked Bujaba. "No, sir, my service is over. I have turned 60. With this, Bayaji lifted the load from his head a little to place it in a position. So he, after that, Bujaba Patil asking that, "Sir, why you are making this type of words? I want to stay here for lifelong. I got retired from my job, so I want to stay my rest of life here." Then immediately Bujaba Patil said that, "Why you are not going back to your work?" "No, sir, I got retired. So I want to stay my rest of my life here in my forefathers' land. So I don't want to make any disturbance here. So I want to live here." But Bujaba Patil is not leaving Bayaji, because he was interested to know something. He wanted to get some information regarding his job and his money. So how much he earned through his job. Let's read. Then you have collected your fund amount. Bujaba was taking his measure. "Yes, sir," Bayaji replied with pride. "How much?" Bujaba asked greedily. "Not much. What can a daily worker can earn?" Bayaji answered. "Why won't you mention the figure, man?" Bujaba persisted artfully. "Some 2,500 rupees. Bayaji gave the correct figure. "Bayaji, you have a heavy load on your head. Go to your house first. We will talk at a leisure later," Bayaji said in a mock. Bujaba said in a mock sympathy. So he wanted to get information. So he got retired. So maybe every retired person will get his total amount, PFs and all the total amount. So Bujaba Patil was interested to know how much he earned, how much he earned by the job and retirement. So immediately asking how much you earn. And he said, "Yes, how much a daily labor can earn? I got so very little amount." He said, "Why you are worrying to say about the correct figure? Say the correct figure." Then immediately Bayaji mentioned that 2,500 rupees I earned. Then immediately he got the information. Bujaba Patil the information. He got the information. So he said, okay, Bayaji, you are carrying a big heavy weight on your shoulder, on your head. So you please move to your home in a mock sympathy. So he got sympathy on him. That is not a correct one. Mock means acting. So that's it. Yes, yes, Bayaji mumbled and walked in the direction of his house. At the moment, Bayaji was a proud owner of 2,500 rupees in cash. So it made no difference whether he was an untouchable or a Buddhist. If only one could swindle out of the untouchable Bayaji, or rather Buddhist Bayaji, 400 or 500 rupees. That was enough. With the thought in his mind, Bujaba entered his Wada, the big house. So now here, so clearly Bujaba Patil was leaving his place, and Bayaji was making his way to his home, and now he was very, very proud, because previously untouchables not having a big amount in their hands, but he has 2,500 rupees, a big amount in his hand, and he was very, very proud of his money, and he thought that I was not even an untouchable now, because a high caste community have the same amount, and untouchable, who is calling as a Mahar caste, a low caste people, is also having a same amount. So here Bayaji was not worrying about the untouchability, and he's saying that I am a proud owner of 2,500 rupees. So now both they started towards the directions, and Bujaba Patil went to his residence Wada, and our Bayaji was going to his residence. Exchanging the pleasantries with the people he met on the way, Bayaji reached the public building called Takya in the untouchable settlement. The building was named Buddha Vihar by those who had embraced Buddhism. As Bayaji neared Buddha Vihar, the children who were playing with a ball made of rags finished their game and cried out, Baiju Nana is here, Baiju Nana is here, then scampered in the direction of Bayaji's house. Bayaji, 85 years old mother, quickly scrambled on her feet. She had aged much, but her old worn frame was still sturdy, and her teeth was strong enough to break grams. She could thread a needle without help. When she heard Bayaji's arrival, her heart was swelled. So now clearly here, so Bujaba went to his Wada, and our Takya means the people where the untouchable who accepted the Buddhism and untouchables Mahar community will live. They are the name as Buddha Vihar. So all they were there. So children were playing with the ball which was made with a rag. Means the papers, with the dust papers we will make a ball. So the children were playing with a rag ball made with the rags. So when they saw the Baiju, means Bayaji, then immediately they are shouting that Baiju Nana is here, Baiju Nana. So immediately the news was spread by the small kids, the grandson of Bayaji as saw that incident, and they went inside to the home, and they mentioned to the same story to Bayaji's mother. So surely the mother's character is mentioned here. Bayaji's mother was very, very strong, and she can break grams, and she has strong teeth. At the same time, she was used to keep thread in the needle without any help of another person. So that was the strength, and the eyesight was very, very powerful of the Bayaji's mother. That's the end of today's class. Tomorrow we will meet in the next class. Thank you.